every little bit of democracy has to be earned, has to be fought for, and has to be fought for to be maintained too. We can't be lax about it. All right, folks, we're back. Welcome back to the Foolish Optimist podcast. I am your host, Amy McDonald. I'm very, very excited for our guest today. If you haven't followed us wherever you're listening, go ahead and follow us now. You can rate and review us. That's huge too. And share these episodes with people. We are growing and we're going to be going through the midterms. So we're on the hunt for the next generation of leaders. And I think our guest today is exactly that. Bri Woodson is running in the 12th Congressional District in Georgia. She is a therapist in residency, an organizer, and a Democratic candidate for Georgia's 12th Congressional District's primary. She's a daughter of the South living in North Georgia, and she began her advocacy by creating bold, justice-centered content as the controversial blonde, challenging systems of power and sparking hard conversations. A survivor of active addiction and human trafficking, her recovery and healing shaped both her clinical work and her commitment to public service. Bri believes democracy must serve working families, protect the vulnerable, expand access to mental health care and economic opportunity, and defend civil rights. Her campaign is community-powered, not by corporate PACs, and rooted in the belief that surviving the hardest chapters of life prepare you to fight for a more just and accountable government. You can follow her at Bri Woodson for Congress, and you should check out her website at briwoodsonforcongress.com. Bri, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have this conversation with you. I'm so excited about your campaign and you in general.
So my dog is going to make an appearance. Don't mind him.
Oh. Hi, friend.
He has to sit in my lap. Okay. All right, lay down. There you go.
An integral part of the campaign structure is pets. I mean,
I got 3 dogs.
3 dogs?
Yeah.
What is this guy's name?
This is Turo.
Toro.
He is the biggest baby.
Oh, I love dogs. I feel like we don't talk about it enough, but when you are on a campaign and you're like on the trail and you get to come home to a loving animal that's just like, let me sit in your lap. Probably.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's very needed.
We start the podcast out the same way every time. Why are you running in 2026?
I think there are a few different reasons, but really the main reason is that just like most of the collective that has sense, we'll put it that way, sees what's going on. And, I've been making content with, history videos and political commentary since last January, end of last January. And it just, didn't seem like enough to continue just making videos. I wanted to actually tangibly get up there and do something. And then, the Trump administration pulls what the Trump administration does, series of events, they flood the zone with this going wrong, this is bad. And, compile that with the fact that the district I'm running in has been underrepresented for the last decade, while Rick Allen has been in the seat. So it's a culmination of things, but really the whole premise of it is just tired of systems not working.
Yeah, I think the systems haven't worked for a really long time, but they're being exacerbated. Like when you just...
And I don't think that they ever worked for some people at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's becoming more obvious than ever.
Yes. Yeah. And I think a lot of people who look like me, white folks, are coming to terms with the fact that the way the system was set up was designed to make sure that it didn't fucking work for a large group of people. And then it was designed to keep the rest of us comfy enough that we could ignore things.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things you're hearing from Georgia's 12th constituents about biggest issues that they're worried about right now?
It's kind of like the same trend that you see pretty much any rural South areas. Affordability is an issue. Accessibility to things like healthcare. Clinics are closing down left and right. Sir, clinics are closing down left and right. It's always in the way. So clinics, hospitals are closing down. Food deserts are still an issue. Opportunities in small towns is limited, as we know well. So those are some of the main issues. But I think really the main thing that people are feeling right now is the affordability issue.
Yeah.
Everything's outrageously priced.
Well, and everything you just said kind of wraps up into it, right? Like people can't afford to live because there aren't opportunities where they live. And then
Mhm.
the common
And that,
refrain is
that
just
that
like,
feeds
move.
back, like, and that exactly, and that feeds back into these towns remaining stagnant because instead of figuring out how we bring opportunity to the people, people have to leave to find opportunity, and those small towns never move beyond where they're at. So a big
Mhm,
part of, what I would like to see as well is more incentivizing of small businesses for apprenticeships, internships, things that we can support, and we, as in the government, can support these small businesses and frame these successes for themselves and for other people so they can grow their businesses. So the young people can have something to work towards and look forward to and not constantly feel like the only solution is to leave.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, that's happening all over the country. And people are like, "Oh, how are we gonna pay for that?" I'm like, "It'll pay for itself. What do you mean? If we invest in, like, local economies, that means people
Hmm.
stay there, like you're talking about,
Hmm.
and then they spend money there."
Yeah. Imagine that.
Like literally, I've been having these conversations, and I'm just like, "Is this not logic? Is this or do we what?"
I, it is to me.
So affordability is a big thing, and then, of course, these, like, local economies, they're a big thing. I think something else I'd love to touch on is, like, apprenticeships and internships and things like that, and just, like, other paths of entree into the world, right? I think
Hmm.
a lot of
Hmm.
us feel like we got shoved into college of this is exactly how you have to do it exactly, you know? So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that as it pertains specifically to the 12th district.
People kind of like are shocked that I have this opinion, but I don't think college is for everybody. And, I think we can do a better job of collectively providing opportunities that don't involve going into massive amounts of debt for something that's not worth the outcome. Like, for myself, if I write out my name, it's really long. Like there's 8 letters behind my last name because I keep going to school. I can't stop going to school. But, I work in the mental health field, so it's a little bit different. So it almost feels like this day and age, unless it's science related
Right.
or medical related, the the outcome is not what the hope is, right?
Mhm.
And I think when we're thinking about, rural areas in District 12, things to remember is that Augusta is not it's the largest around, but it's still not the biggest town. It's still hours away from Atlanta,
Mhm.
right? And so opportunities have to be carved out there. It,
Yeah.
it it's not, a matter of people, oh, I'm just gonna be 30 minutes down the road. It's like if you were to head to the city, you'd have to leave like everything for a 4 or 5 hour drive, right? And so it really bothers me how many people end up migrating from their rural towns. And like I said, it's spotted all over District 12. Just driving through, you can see the need. You
Yeah.
can see the need.
I would love to, like, double click into your work in the mental health field.
Yeah.
I think we need so many more people who are health experts, physical, mental, emotional in Congress. So I'd love to hear what your experience has been like in that world and even more of your personal experience and how that's going to shape, I mean, how it's shaping who you are, but how it's going to shape the way you talk about policy.
You know, I think with everything, I think I lead with mental health in mind first because we can't be the best versions of anything. The best versions of a Republican, a Democrat, as a socialist, a libertarian, we can't be the best version of anything if our mental health is in the gutter. So, I think I bring it into how I communicate. I don't mince words, but I also am very kind. I'm assertive. And I think that's something that Congress misses in a lot of ways. And so, when I'm thinking about how do I take my mental health work into the political world, so I'm a substance use therapist. I actually just finished my residency hours, which is awesome.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I'm taking a little break before I jump back into it. But I teach classes. I teach psychoeducation classes and I teach about the neuroscience of the brain. Right. And I could have anybody from any walk of life within the same classroom at any given point. So I have to be able to not change my message, but adjust it so everyone's ears pick up the same thing at the same time. And, if I can do that there, it can absolutely apply it in other areas. I'm all often about bipartisanship. And I think that also comes with, being able to talk to people and listen to people, which seems to be a lost art.
We like to talk at people.
Yeah,
That's what
very
I've
much that.
found. Yeah.
Very much that.
Yeah. And of course, like in our lifetime, the Congress itself has gotten more and more divided. My first presidential election was Barack Obama's first term. I remember the next day, Mitch McConnell, he was old then, his old face in the camera being like, I'm going to work as hard as I can to not get anything passed. And like, from there, it's gotten even more and more and more divided. So
don't get me started on Mitch McConnell.
Someone was like, I don't want to speak ill. And I was like, I will. I really hope he falls down hard stairs. Like hard stairs, not ones with carpet.
I mean, I hate that, he's falling. I really do. But if that isn't a clear indicator that maybe it's time to just stay at home.
The idea that we have people dying in office is just a lot of them. I mean, frankly, like across all levels. Like
it's not just Republican either. I speak of the old guard, and when I say old guard, I don't mean just Republicans. I mean old establishment Dems too. The incumbent that I'm attempting to unseat has been there for a decade, and he's 74. People,
I'm always like, do you just hate your family? Do you not want to spend time with your grandchildren?
Right. I'm like, you have great kids, bro.
Well, I think about this like old guard too when I think about like Dianne Feinstein's and stuff. And even, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did a ton of great stuff, but like
the girl was old. Wasn't there a member of Congress that had to be rolled in?
I think so. And there's also been one lady who's just gone. She's been MIA because
she was in a nursing home.
She's been, and they like couldn't find her. I see her that we're going to have to like work with the next election and the next younger group of people to put things in place that are like, hey, if you miss this many sessions in a row because you are ill, you do have to step down. You're not doing your job.
I feel like we have done an awful job of pedestalizing and making politicians into like celebrity tier individuals that we forget that these are service roles. Like it is just a job. You cannot just not show up to work.
So I'm in North Carolina right now helping Ashley Bell on her primary, and North Carolina still doesn't have a budget. What do you mean? That's your job. If I didn't do my job, I would get fired. Like, I cannot comprehend how we have to put in rules in place for people to just fucking do their jobs.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
That's why.
What sets you apart from the old guard?
Well, I'm a young guard for
like, do I look 74?
Not only my age, I'm the youngest Black woman in Georgia's history to run for a congressional seat, but my mental health background is rare in this, and also just my background of being a marginalized person. I've gone through some struggles and things that really ground me and attach me to real life that I can't be separated from. I move about the world differently than most people, and I think that sets me apart for sure.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. If you care about politics enough to listen to this podcast, you've probably felt the frustration of trying to navigate government. Who's your city council member? State? What district are you even in? It shouldn't be this hard. Luckily for us, there's Civic Politics, a free app that brings all your elected officials together in one place from City Hall to Congress. No more hunting across dozens of outdated government websites. Just download Civic Politics on the App Store or Google Play Store and finally have your representatives in the palm of your hand. Follow @civic.app on TikTok or civic.politics on Instagram to be the first to know about the latest features. Hi, it's Amy here. If you want to support the Foolish Optimist podcast, the best thing you can do for us is follow the podcast wherever you're listening and share it to your friends and neighbors. But if you'd like to monetarily support, you can find me on Venmo at amymaccc. That would be a huge help as well. Thank you. Do you want to talk about some of the things that you've gone through? or
Oh,
do
I
you?
don't mind.
Okay. I was like, I don't
Oh,
know
I
if
mind.
you talk about those on podcasts, but I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like
Mhm.
it would be, especially in light of what is going on right now in
Yeah.
terms of the
I
Trump
was
Epstein files.
I was in activization for on and off for a decade. I had periods of normalcy, but towards the end there, it got fairly bad. My mental health was really the key factor in all of it. But again, so like I said, towards the end of it, things got worse, and I ended up being trafficked. Thankfully, not very long, and I somehow survived that. Like he just left, like he just walked out of my life, or I don't know by what higher power, what grace, and by who, but it happened. And after that, I went right into treatment, and I was in treatment for some time. Did a couple programs, and then came out, finished my bachelor's, and just wrapped my master's, and now we're here.
And now we're running for office. I mean, I think that's amazing. I'm also someone who was in active addiction for about a decade. And I think the compassion that you're able to show to not just yourself, but to others once you've come out of it on the other side and you actually begin to focus on mental health and heal. And then, of course, you've got the mental health background. Like, we have an addiction problem in this country that nobody
Mhm.
wants to talk about, nobody wants to deal
We
with.
have an entire mental health problem in this country.
Yeah.
Our mental health numbers are some of the worst, and it's something that's so often overlooked, and it's not in a vacuum. It's not just happening for no reason. Like, it, socioeconomics affects your mental health. Point blank period.
Yeah.
And if you are in a position where you're constantly worried about affording food, constantly worried about affording your bills and this, that, and the third, if you're in those spaces, your mental health is going to be affected. Just
Yeah.
this is how it goes. So, people, the powers that be, shouldn't be surprised that our mental health rates in this country are as bad as they are. People are busting their asses every week and still cannot afford to live. That is a drain.
Right. Right.
The congressional salary is $174,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're literally like, it's not enough because we have to maintain two residencies. And I'm like, get a roommate, babe. That's what you told me to do. Get a roommate. And a lot of them do have roommates in DC, which I think is cute. And I like that. But yeah, I mean, you said it, right? And then we have these entire industries spawning out of this being like shaming Americans, saying, oh, you're just bad at money.
Mhm.
Why aren't you, where's your
It's the
budgeting at?
avocado toast.
Fuck. I'm like, oh, yes, my $114
It's not
purchase.
my freaking toast. It's
It's
not
not,
the toast.
never been
And
the
it's not the
fucking toast.
Starbucks. It's not the Dunkin'. It's not any of those things.
No.
It's the fact that, my 2-bedroom apartment cost me almost $2,000 a month.
It, yeah. In almost any city in the country right now,
You
too.
know,
And this goes back to,
that's considered a good price.
yeah. Yeah. This
Yeah.
goes back to your like local economy conversation, right? Like where people are like, just move, just leave. I can't get anything cheaper anywhere else. And I would like to live where I live. I'd like to have a job. Like everything is so
Right. And
interconnected.
and that conversation in and of itself exposes the issues that we have in renting. You cannot wait until your current lease is over to find a place. So typically you end up overlapping. So you have to have money for rent in two places. You have to have money for deposit and any other fees
And
that they come up with while paying rent at your other place. Like,
yeah,
what? Like,
yeah, yeah. And then they're like, it's crazy. You actually don't have enough money in your account for all of this. And you're like, you don't say. My salary hasn't changed in 5 years.
imagine that, right? It's it honestly gaslighting. Gaslighting the American people into just, bootstrap and work harder and everything will be okay. You can work as hard as you want, but when systems are outworking you, what are
Yeah,
you supposed to do?
yeah, yeah. It's and it's in every single like industry. I see it most egregiously in the health industry where
Mhm.
they're like, oh, if you just did X, Y, and Z, then you'll be healthy. And if you take these supplements, or if we have universal health care, all of a sudden, then our government's incentivized to keep us
I saw a
healthy.
video, was it maybe 2 weeks ago? I'll send it to you. Like, this wild. This girl, she says, just come with me while I go to the doctor in China. I'm like, okay. So it cost like $50. And she got everything she needed. Didn't wait long to see the doctor at all. But and I was like, you didn't have to have insurance. Like, it's we complicate it in such wild ways, and it's uh, because we are a country with a lot of oligarchs, and they feed
Yeah.
into these systems.
That's the middlemen of healthcare, like healthcare, big air quotes, yes, insurance. That's literally killing people.
Working in the mental health field and the current administration, people don't know this, but we have parity law. Parity law forces your insurance company to treat your physical health and mental health along the same lines. The Biden administration, we've had these laws since like the 80s, 90s. The Biden administration did a lot of work to strengthen them. Of course, the Trump administration came in and undid all of that, and they paused parity requirements as of May 15th of last year. And so, if you're having pushback on mental health services being covered by your insurance, or suddenly they cost more, or suddenly something isn't covered, that's probably why.
People give Biden a lot of flack, but he actually did get a lot of things done.
He did. But they were too busy calling him sleepy. And he was sleepy some days. But you can
again,
choose to
he's
cut this.
very
You
old.
can choose to cut this. You can choose to cut this part out if you want to. But I think it's ridiculous to point out how sleepy Joe was, and not point out diaper Dawn. And our president currently had accidents on himself.
Right. And it's because he was born in the same decade that like our presidents in the 90s were born in. And that was 30 years ago. It's so frustrating to me to see this exact same age range of presidents all the time, because I'm like, you don't know what life is like. You have no fucking idea. That's why you think avocado toast is why I can't buy a home. You
Says that, who is it? It's a Kennedy.
Oh, the young Kennedy.
No, the really funny Kennedy, the one who says the wildest things. What did he?
Oh, I
can
know who
quote
you're
him all
talking
day.
about.
You know what I'm talking about. He said, "You're the reason they need instructions on the back of a shampoo bottle." He's so funny. The thing that he actually said with his full chest, and I'm like, you know what? I need to be less hard on myself for the things that I say, because these people in office say whatever they want.
They literally will just talk, man. And this has been going on for a while. So one of the campaigns I worked off was in 2014. I was working for a Democrat in Staten Island against a Republican. I don't know if you remember this. Michael Grimm, with a hot mic on, threatened to throw a reporter off the balcony of the House of Representatives. That was 12 years ago. So
can we calm down?
Shit's just gotten like wilder and wilder since then.
And the administration is a big part of the reason why people feel comfortable. They've given people a license to act this way. And I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a politician. He is running for something in Texas. He put on the internet the wildest thing, and I'm like, these people, you guys vote for these people? Okay. His name is Beau French of Texas. He posted a picture of 4 indigenous women. It says, since we're going to denaturalize and deport all the third world savages who hate our country, I'm calling for adding these third world savages who we conquered, then bizarrely let have a nation inside of our nation to the list.
I saw that. Now that you're mentioning it, I was
Like, sir,
what?
you said that.
Also,
And the type of environment we're in, there's a space for that.
Yeah.
And that's worrisome as hell.
Yeah.
It should be.
I mean, we have, in some smaller races, we have people who have literally been not just accused, but proven to be neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and they're running and they're like raising money on that give, send, go, saying that doesn't care what you did and is very happy to fundraise for racists. And people they're not accused. They like say it with their whole chest, just like this guy did. And I don't know. I would like to get back to a time where like racism, we can.
But at least if we can't solve it, can we go back to being Shane?
That guy, his name is Beau, and he's probably whiter than I am. He's probably getting fucked up by the sun all day, every day. And you're going to talk about, you can't even be outside. What do you mean?
Alert to the sun.
Like, oh, and some of them just need to be.
People have not been held accountable, and the e-files is a great example of that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I still exist in a lot of TikTok spaces, and either if I'll go on a live panel or listening to a lot of lives, and the things that some of these people say,
Unbelievable.
it's like, you believe that? Do you feel that way? There's actually a young man, he's in his early 30s, goes by the username on TikTok. And he comes up on Fred's live panel a lot. And he is a full-blown supremacist. Full-blown.
Yeah.
He will tell you with his whole chest. He will tell you straight up that he doesn't want more brown people in this country because he's afraid of not having more white people. Says he doesn't want to have to work harder because some immigrant is better at a job than him. Like, it is vile. And he is just comfortable as hell saying this with his whole chest on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
I had conversations with him. I'm like, what actually is wrong with you?
Right. What are you actually afraid of? And
And he can barely hold the conversation with me because I'm a Black woman. It's wild. It's wild. And that's common. That's not an isolated thing.
No, it's not anymore. It's not like it used to be in the deep dark web of the internet that we didn't see that much. And now it's just out in the open. Part of this is, like you said, you're talking about the administration. Stephen Miller has straight up said that he wants the United States to have 100 million people. We have almost 400 million. And he wants them to look like him, which is hilarious because that man looks like a thumb. Could you imagine 100 million Stephen Millers?
I have a lot of words about that, but I'm gonna keep them to myself. But the accountability in racism, because of this administration, it's wild.
Yeah.
And you know, you call it out and people like, being attentive.
I think the best thing I've seen about it is actually an Australian comedian talking about punching Nazis. Because I don't know if you remember when Richard Spencer got punched in the face.
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. We should be punching more Nazis, frankly. But the way he like set this joke up was he was like, and then every liberal media person out there was like, should we really be punching Nazis in the face? Should we? And I was like, yeah, we should be punching Nazis in the face, actually. They need to get punched. That's part of why we're in the position we're in right now is because none of them have been
no
held
accountability.
accountable. Yeah.
No accountability. This is, I talk about this a lot, you know, what we see going on with ICE. People love trying to put it off on Germany. This is the Gestapo. These are the Nazis. No, this is the American South.
Yeah.
These are subcashers. The Nazis got their playbook from Jim Crow.
From us.
It's
and they
always
literally
been
thought it was
American.
a little too complicated. The way we did the one drop rule, they were like, ugh, that's confusing. That's how.
But even we went too far. And for Nazis in some aspects.
The Nazis thought
and they don't think of, they have no ideas. It's and that brings me to education.
Yeah.
We've got to do something about the education issue in this country. And I think it's deliberate. The administration's pointed attack on education. You know, the more you know, the better you vote. And they know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Donald Trump has literally said that he prefers dumb, like people who are uneducated because they are easy to fool.
Smart people. He says smart people don't like me. So do you mean dumb people do?
Yeah.
And no, if you pose it that way to his base, they stumble over their answer. And it's like, why do y'all let this man talk to y'all like this?
He's so adversarial to the people that like him.
There is an email that was sent out to his base for collecting funds. I mean, I don't know why the man still needs money, but whatever. Yeah. It said, our sources, our systems are telling us that you still haven't donated. Does that mean that you're an illegal alien or an illegal immigrant? I would hate to find that out. Donate now. And I'm like, y'all respond to this? That's bullying. This is abuse.
But it's everything that they know is based in so much fear, right?
Oh, fun facts. Mental health facts about this. Conservatives, there's been studies behind this. Conservatives, Republicans have been shown to have a larger amygdala because your amygdala is what outputs all the fear responses. So they have so much fear-based rhetoric in their policies and you know, in their media that they're literally responding to their amygdala overreacting with fear.
So I love the neuroscience aspect of all of this because...
Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. I mean,
we got to study it more.
We need
You
to
have to
study
study
it
more.
constantly. I'm also like stuck on this like neuroscience aspect of change, right? Because we
Mhm.
know that our brains are afraid of change because it's different, not because it's
Mhm.
scary, but because it's different. And
Mhm.
I talk to people all the time who are like, we just can't change. It's not possible. And I'm like, no, that's your brain telling you you're afraid of change. At least that's what
Mhm.
I think is happening on a massive countrywide
Yeah.
scale.
Well, yeah.
And I'm like,
Well,
this
this is
what?
also why I would consider this as well as an extinction burst. I don't know if you heard about the 250-year empire theory before.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I've been talking about that since last year, and we're 50 years old this year, and I think that's important to notate, right? Like, this is
Can you explain it to everybody who's listening?
yeah. The author is what, Sir John William Blood, I want to say. He co-authored a book, if I'm not, no, he wrote it. He wrote a book in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, called The 250-Year Empire Theory. And he basically explores the idea that all major empires either fall or have some major shift at the 250-year mark. And there are a few indicators that this is happening, like a call to nationalism, which we see the nostalgia to the past, but they can't. But if you ask them, like, what point in the past are you referring to, they can't pinpoint an actual
Right.
time. And that's all. We just got to make America great again. So definitely, if you haven't heard of the 250-year empire theory, definitely go look up the 250-year empire theory. It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
And literally, I'm like even Hollywood writers would be like, oh, a revolution on the 250th birthday feels a little too on the nose. Like, I feel like this is so per- perfectly in line with that theory. But
Mhm. It's so obvious. Like, you're looking at it, it's so
yes,
obvious. Like, this feels like, what's the last thing a supernova star does before it dies? Exactly. Extinction burst.
yeah. And I'm hoping for that. But that's where my side of this stuff comes in, where so many people are like, oh, we can never change this. And I'm like, actually, we can. Right. Like,
Mhm.
you love history. I love history. Every moment in American history, there's someone standing up and saying, this isn't right. I'm going to change it. And they fucking do.
Right. Like, like, civil rights weren't given to anybody. Women's rights weren't just given away.
Right.
Like, you had these things had to be taken.
Yeah.
Democracy is not something that just is automatically passed down to you because you're an American. And I think that America has done a great job convincing people of that. But every little bit of democracy has to be earned, has to be fought for, and has to be fought for to be maintained too. We can't be lax about it, which I think, unfortunately, in a lot of senses, we were fairly lax about it. We didn't take seriously a decade ago the intensity of this party. Like, and it's not the Republican Party. The Republican Party has yet to be figured out. They've been infiltrated.
I mean, I think some of them have,
Some of them have.
especially in the South. I looked to Lindsey Graham, right? Like that motherfucker was like, never Trump, never Trump, never Trump, switched immediately. And everyone's like, what has he got on him? I'm like, nothing. He just is a political operative who can sense what's happening. Oh, he pissed me the fuck off. He is one of the most useless people. And I would love to see Annie Andrews beat him. Yeah. Let's just wipe the
Yeah.
floor with him and then he can crawl back into whatever. Like,
I've been hearing that name since I was a kid, and it's just
there's so many. So Lindsey Graham was one of
Mitch
the,
McConnell. Mitch McConnell was an elder when I was in high school, and I'm 32 this year.
like I said, when I voted the first time, he was old. He was already old. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Government information shouldn't require a scavenger hunt. Luckily for us, Civic Politics is a free app that shows you all of your elected officials, city, state, federal, all in one place. Download it now on the App Store or in Google Play Store and have the information you need in the palm of your hand. Hi, it's Amy here. If you want to support the Foolish Optimist podcast, the best thing you can do for us is follow the podcast wherever you're listening and share it to your friends and neighbors. But if you'd like to monetarily support, you can find me on Venmo at AMYMACCC. That would be a huge help as well. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about your primary. When is that?
Yeah, May 19th.
If you're in a pretty crowded primary, you've got a lot of other competitors, which I think is actually good. I mean, it could be good and bad, right? Obviously, you might end up in a runoff, but with you're not like competing against one entrenched Democratic name, there seems to be a lot of people that you can play off of. What are your thoughts around getting people out to vote for the primary?
I think it's just a matter of getting people interested. I think a lot of District 12s, the way the congressional vote has gone the way it has is two things. Rick Allen is a big name. He's got a big war chest, and his contender is never quite at his level,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why I've been so adamant about getting myself, you know, out there, not just in the district, but in other places as well, to show that like this kid is here, she's known, she's doing XYZ. But as far as my crowded primary, I don't really stress about it too much. I think my thing is to stick to what I know, stick to what I can do, and let that speak for itself. And getting people out to vote is definitely a focus. The young vote in particular, I think I have a great advantage right now to connect to voters my age. The average age of constituent in District 12 is 37, and I will be 32 next month. So no matter what anybody else might have to offer up and down the ballot, none of them can say they're my age. And I've also noticed something, that I am the most progressive candidate, the most progressive. Everyone else seems fairly centered, unwilling to say certain things, but me out with my full on chest, impeach, abolish
Yes.
ICE, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think those things will definitely benefit me, because one of the, if not the biggest complaint that people have for the Democratic Party is I'll tell you off camera what I want to say. But I think they're used to the Democratic Party just not being tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest issues. Like, why can't you just say the things? The Republican Party isn't afraid to say the things or do the things, right? But we've got this obsession with turning the other cheek or not saying the thing. No, I'm
Yes.
saying all the things, and no cheeks will be turned here.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the turn the other cheek thing is getting misinterpreted. I don't remember the entire Bible verse, but it's like, not just sit by and let someone hit you. I don't remember the whole thing. It's somehow the Bible is coming out of my brain finally after 20 years of trying to purge it. I love Michelle Obama. I love when we go high, they go low, or when they
I
go low,
was
we
just
go
about to
high.
say that.
But at this point, I'm like, when they go low, I am going to grab their little devil's tail and pull them down to hell with me.
No, look, when they go low, we go to the pits of hell.
Yeah. Come with me. It's warm.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's just a lot of bullying being allowed to happen
Yeah.
by simply not speaking up,
Right. Right.
and trying to keep this perceived order. Hate to break it to you guys, but we ain't got no order no more.
I was just talking about this today. I'm like, throw the rule books out the window. Constitution already has been. What do you mean? I'm like, someone was asking me what I want the Democrats to do right now. I was like, I want them to put pressure on every single Republican to get them to abolish ICE. And they're like, how do they do that? I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't care. There's no rules anymore. Like, people are being
I mean, look who is in office. Like you got the entire e-files running around the White House. Who gives a damn about the rules? Clearly, nobody else does.
right, right. Like,
And the fact that people are still defending that in and of itself is a drain. Because even at the suspicion of that level of wildness and debauchery,
yeah,
y'all need to go sit down somewhere, and at least until we can finish an investigation.
yeah,
But the fact that these people are allowed to collect a paycheck on the American people's dime, well, we clearly see their names
right,
in these activities, and this
right.
it's the twilight zone.
Like,
Or American politics on a Tuesday in February.
I literally was about to be like, it's March. No, it is February. I'm going insane. I'm quite literally starting to lose my mind. I think they should be put in like a padded room until we get an investigation done. Like 6 months ago, we all agreed human trafficking was awful for anyone. If it happened to anybody, it was really bad. If it happened to kids, it was like a million times worse. And now everyone's actually, I don't think we have enough proof.
And it's like, what more did you want? I've actually heard people say, I want a video. You want to see that? Oh, interesting
Mm-mm.
choices.
No, we know why you want a video, and now we need to search your hard drive.
Yeah, the capitulation in those countries from both the population and those in power is just astounding. The lack of backbone is so astounding.
To me, it used to be astounding, and now it is a little bit expected. And what really frustrates me from like a political, just like a career in politics and political consulting is the fact that if any single one of these Democrats stood up and started pushing back, and there are plenty, right? We've got Jasmine Crockett, AOC's pushing, Maxwell Frost. It's almost exclusively younger members of Congress who are people of color. They're getting flowers. But if an older member of Congress stood up and had a backbone, they would be a presidential candidate immediately. If you just stood on something and fought for it, you would be the leader of the party. And you won't even, that in itself is not even enough to knock you out of this. So what do we do?
I don't know what this complacency is. I don't know. But it's not working.
No.
It is not working. It's not doing the Democratic Party any favors.
The amount of the national party's amount of money on hand is like $0. And I'm like, it's because you're not doing anything. Again, we talked about logic right at the beginning of this.
And I don't think they listen to the party. Like they are chucking on, moving as if doing the same old will somehow outlast what's going on. Oh, like that's not working.
Yeah. There is a very stark contrast between the younger generation of people. And I do think what you pointed out, like the average voting age in Georgia as a whole is like one of the youngest in the country. What we're seeing happen is this like massive shift. And I think our average age of Congress is going to drop so much, which is so good because we got to get these people out.
Yeah. 100%.
We're going to come into our last little part of our segments here, but what is something you would like everyone to know about you as a person, as a candidate?
Oh, probably that I'm always grounded to the things that make me want to run. That those things can't be taken away from me. There's such part of my identity that it's not something that's going to be forgotten. I'll always think of the marginalized first. I'll always look at things from a wellness perspective because mental health. And I think that those things are super important for me to express because I've heard so many times like don't get in office and switch it up, and like that's not really me. I've always kind of stuck out like a sore thumb in the sense that I don't go with the status quo. So that's hasn't been a problem in 32 years. I don't think this is about to start. So yeah, people ask me how when did you become political? Like since I came out of my mother.
Like since I stepped out of the womb and was like,
I was literally getting in trouble in high school for being very bold in like history presentations about race. like, like I had to rewrite papers in high school. Like I've always been this way. It's always been willingness to speak out against any kind of establishment, any kind, and that's not going to change.
And that's the exact type of person that we need in Congress. Like, we replicate you and just drop you in a bunch of different states. Okay, so we've got a couple rapid fire questions and then we'll wrap it up. Are you a morning or an evening person?
Morning.
100%. These people are like, I like to do my work at midnight. I'm like, you and I can't be in the same room because I need to be in bed.
Even if I'm not asleep, like I'm in the bed. But like as far as productivity and mood wise, morning.
Cool. If you had to eat one thing, one meal, and I don't mean like breakfast, lunch, dinner, I mean like a specific meal. If you had to eat one thing every day for a year, what would it be?
Probably some kind of pasta. I love pasta.
That's a good answer. What was the last book you read?
A book on leadership by MLK. Well, it's a book on leadership. Let me show it to you. It's a really good book. Highly suggest for anybody in a leadership position. It's Martin Luther King Jr. on Leadership by Donald T. Phillips. So it's all of Martin Luther King's, let me see, I had it for a second. There it is. It's all of Martin Luther King's wisdom from leading a movement. And I just finished this.
I would like to read that. I think
Are you a book person?
I'm a big book person.
Okay. So I went and got Arcane and Arcane Inheritance. Like, I don't know, because let me see. Because I have to show you how pretty this book is.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it so pretty? And this is a fantasy novel by a Black author. This is also a fantasy novel by a
Ooh,
Black author. And on me, I got a copy of the Constitution.
I really want Michael Harriot's book. I want that. Yes. I need
And
that.
then one, I think, where did I put it? Or my dog stuffed it under the bed. So there is one. I think you might like this one. Oh, I found it. I think you might like this one. Hit Feminism. Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot.
I read that a while ago. I need to reread it.
So that's in my TBR.
Yeah, I need to reread it. I think I read it. I'm like, don't even know what years are anymore. I'll be like, oh, like years and years ago. Someone's like, that was 2 months ago, Amy. I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
It's weird right now, too.
I feel like we're in dog years. Every year feels like
Yes.
7, and like a month
Yeah.
feels like 7 months. It's just like,
January was the longest month.
I thought we were in March. I can't believe we're still in February. Frankly, like, what is
And this is
happening?
the shortest month.
Yeah, this is the baby month. This is the little, as an Aquarius baby myself, a February baby. My last question before we log off. What's your favorite thing about the 12th Congressional District?
Oh, the water. You know,
Water.
the river runs through it. It's close to the coast part of Georgia, and that place has always had just a special place in my heart. I actually lived in Savannah for a while. It was where I went to school for the first couple of years. So just that whole area, the marshlands, the history, just as my heart.
Thank you. This is a great place to wrap up, guys. Bri Woodson running in the 12th Congressional District. Check out her website, donate some money, and maybe sign up to make some phone calls or volunteer if you can.
Absolutely.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. My name's Amy McDonald. I am the host and the editor of the Foolish Optimist podcast. Our theme music was made by my brother, Bobby McDonald. Our branding was done by Norm Alger. If you're looking to support the Foolish Optimist podcast, the best thing you can do is follow us and share. But you can also support me on Venmo at amymaccc, and you can reach out to me at the Foolish Optimist podcast at gmail.com.